Podcasting from the Chicagoland area, this is Game On with Jackson Stuart, where we discuss men's lifestyle, focusing on sex, fitness, relationships, business, and more. We'll be interviewing the best of the best, the hot shots, and the rising stars in the worlds of modeling, fitness, cooking, and more. Influencers who are discussing keeping it sexy while at the top of their game. I'm your host, Jackson Stuart. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the game. Bravery, fearlessness, and boldness. These are just a few of the words used to describe Valor, and these are some of the best traits you need when playing the game. Your man Jack has known some Valor here and there, but if we're going to apply it to dating, especially in today's world, and with Valentine's Day right around the corner, let's talk to our expert tonight. An energetic and passionate individual, Dale Valor is what I would call the John Wick of dating coaches. By putting together his own blueprint for communication and playing the game, Dale created a system of pragmatic, common sense approaches for talking the talk. Like any great coach of the game, he'll be offering his knowledge to level up the players. Everyone, you've heard the intro. Now join me in welcoming back to Game On, Dale Valor of Modern Valor Dating. Dale, how you doing, man?
Dude, I am fantastic, bro. Like, again, I'm so excited to be here, man, and getting back on here with you. And because dude, I've given you so many props, man. I've told so many people, like, yo, if you want a professional interview, a professional experience being on a podcast, you got to talk to Jackson because, like, for real, man, I've been doing a grip of them. And cats are just like, oh, you know what? Is it cool if I tape on my phone while we're live on YouTube? Like, yeah, man, I guess. You know? So, like, this is the real deal, though, man. You're doing it, like, how it should be done, in my opinion.
Well, hey, I appreciate it. I feel like, and I'm laughing because it's, for people who, like, obviously, you know, when we do stuff and people don't see behind the scenes, but, like, sometimes you get guests, and guests have to warm up. You know, you got to get them in the mood, and you talk to them and kind of get a feel for, you know, how much energy they want to bring today. People, Dale is always 198%. I'd say 200, but the scale doesn't go that high. It's like 150. But
like, I thought we already started, to be honest. Like, when we were doing the warm-up, I thought that was like, like I already thought we were going, man. So, yeah, dude, I'm just myself, bro. You know, I'm unapologetically authentic, you know? So, yeah.
I love it. It's like having a hype man, you know, like back in the day. You know, especially like in the early days of hip hop, you had guys like, you know, like Flavor Flav. Yeah, he'd hype up the audience, and Dale Valor, he's a one-man hype show. I love it.
Well, dude, when I used to rhyme, when I used to do hip hop, you know, I needed a hype man. You know, like, I guess I didn't need one, but I always liked the aesthetic. I always liked the feel that a hype man would bring. And
right.
It was like, yo, man, you got to match my energy. You know, like, I can't have a hype man that's taking energy from me. Like, you're here to add to that experience. So if I have to set you on fire, if I have to, like, threaten your family, like, you know, like, you have to come with it, man, you know? So
yep, no doubt. Well, you are, I love, you know, I say this every show, and I hope people realize that, you know, I'm not just saying it to say I've been very lucky and blessed and fortunate with the guests, and each guest brings a very unique just vibe, and that's one of the reasons why I love doing the show. And your vibe is always like nobody can touch your vibe, and that's, God, I mean, it's
thanks, man.
Oh, man, it's so authentic and refreshing, and it's wild and entertaining, and I love it. And we've got you here because it's February. Valentine's Day is around the corner. We're in a pandemic still. Even when we're not in the pandemic, I think just the game has changed because we've been indoors. Technology is ramped up. Telecommunications is now like modern day every day, part of just what you do. It's not just business communication, but friends are using WhatsApp and Zoom and WebEx and a house party to communicate, and that's getting into the dating world. So before we get into those questions, and that's why I wanted to have you back on, let's, people who did not catch you previously, which I think you're episode 4. I can't believe we're in season 2 already. It's crazy. But if you haven't, if you haven't heard Dale previously, go back and catch him. I'll link that episode back up. But all episodes are available, but I'll make sure I point it out when I put the links for the show. Tell people where they can find you, on what platforms, and with what username.
Well, I'll tell you, we're on every platform, I believe. I'm like, look, I mean, there's, we're not on MySpace. If you try to find us on MySpace, we're not there, but like anywhere that you probably are, we're there. Right. So the best thing I can tell you is if you Google Modern Valor Dating, first and foremost, you'll see our website, and it has a link to all of our social media platforms on the website. But secondly, all that stuff's going to come up in the search, man. Our Instagram, and, we got a very, very, very interactive Facebook group. Our YouTube channel is like like, I'll call it what it is. I mean, it's not like, you're not going to go on there and be like, oh, wow, they've got, 500,000 subscribers. It ain't like that. But in the last month, man, like, we've gotten like double the amount of subscribers that we had the previous 9 months, Nice. So yeah, man, we're creeping up on 1,000 subs. So, it's starting to perform. It's starting to take off a little bit. And so yeah, man, I mean, I guess to answer your question, we're pretty much anywhere, bro, but I think our most interactive is probably the Facebook group, Instagram at Modern Valor Dating, and the YouTube channel.
So we were talking earlier in the setup about, today's world is, I mean, things have changed. I would say for good. And I don't mean, I'm not saying like we're only going to be 6 feet away from each other. I mean, we'll get back to physical proximity and contact, but just, things have changed. Communications have changed. So with that having been said, what are challenges from a virtual standpoint? What are challenges in the dating world today?
I think, I think the main thing is this, dude. I think that it's people not knowing how to act, right? It's like, man, you ever see a kid that's not house trained and then you put them in a formal setting? You know what I mean? And they just don't know how to act. They like Will Smith going to live in Bel Air, and like he's over there like playing like the what you call it, like the glasses. That was like the first episode. You know what I'm talking about? Like cats just don't know how to act, And but the thing is, this is new to everybody, right? It's not like it's a learned thing because you have previous experience. This is new to everybody. So I think the problem is with most guys, and I'll take it from a men's perspective here. I think most guys, man, they're like, firstly, most of them are afraid to go talk to a girl to begin with. Now it's like, oh, well, should I be social distancing from her? Should I, is she going to like run away? Like I've got the COVID on me. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's a lack of understanding how to act in a social environment. And I think the cure for that is act as if there's not one, except for that gauge their reaction, the woman's reaction to you. So for instance, if I see a girl we'll just say I'm at, everybody's got to eat, right? So, the livest place in town is the grocery store. So you're at the grocery store, you see a girl that's over there checking out the produce. You're like, man, she's really cute. I'd like to go talk to her. And she's wearing like one of those old timey diver suits because she's scared of getting COVID. You know, like, okay, probably don't approach her because she's obviously taking this to a very serious degree. But most people, man, they just have a mask on. That's it. And I've yet to experience, well, actually, let me take a step back. I've only had one instance where somebody was like, oh, stay away, you know, social distancing, social distancing. It's only happened to me once. And that's one time out of 1,000, you know? So most people just act the same way, man. Just act how you would normally act, but just be a little bit conscious of like, okay, if she's standoffish, you know, okay, so give her space. That's
Right.
it. You know, but if she responds to you in a normal way and you're okay with that, you're not like completely freaked out over it, then do what you got to do.
So what are some positives that you see with, you know, let's say people have gotten past that first step and they're talking, but, you know, like, what are positives to the virtual environment now where people are trying to date, you know, where whether it be, you know, over messaging systems or whether it be online dating, like the game has changed or it's added another level to it. What are some benefits that you're seeing now that weren't present before? Like when we were doing things old school, like, you know,
Um,
asking somebody else face to face or, you know, that kind of thing.
yeah, I mean, I think the one thing that the one positive that sticks out to me is that I think that people are a little more sensitive to, you know, being a little more tech savvy. You know, so like
Mm,
before all this started, like I wasn't really familiar with Zoom that much. I mean, I knew what it was, you know, but I
right.
never really used it because there just ever wasn't really a purpose for it. But now I'm like, dude, I kill it on Zoom. You know, like I know how to run that website backwards and forwards now, and so I think that that's helped people be able to, and you know, let's call it what it is, man. I'm a little bit older than probably most cats that would probably be listening to this. And so I didn't grow up on cell phones and laptops and iPads and all that kind of thing. So sometimes there's a little bit of a learning curve. So, you know, but, you know, I got it figured out and was able to run with it, you know. And so I think that that's one thing. You know, another positive I think that's kind of came out of it is, um, you know, I think people are a little more patient with each other in the sense of
Mm,
like people
good point.
understand, you know, people understand that there's, you know, something going on that's bigger than them. And so you might give somebody the benefit of the doubt a little bit more than you would if none of that was going on for good reason because nothing's going on. So why would you give that person the benefit of the doubt? But, you know, now it's like, hey, look, you know, I don't know. What would be a good example? I can't meet up with you on Friday because, you know, I'm going to be dropping off some groceries at my grandma's house.
Right,
You
right.
know, and so where before it might be like, well, can't you just drop them off on Thursday or something? You know, like no, like it has to be Friday now because of the, you know, I don't know, like maybe there's some kind of protocol or something going on that you know, that kind of thing, man. So I think people are a little more patient with each other.
I like that. And that's a good, I think everybody's so stuck in the negative that people aren't looking at the positive. And yeah, I think people are a little more sensitive to just, you know, working with each other in terms of, I mean, even in places of business, it's like, oh, you know, I can't make it in, but I can attend via, you know, a phone call or web conference,
Right.
whatever. And so, yeah, it makes sense that it's watered its way down and to personal communications. Back in the day, because you and I have talked about, you know, some old school stuff back in the day. When I was coming up, you could not ask a girl out unless it was face to face. Like if you called her on the phone, I mean, calling on the phone was barely passable, and that would only be
Yeah.
if you didn't see her on a regular basis. To, you know, but like
Right.
you weren't a man or on the path to becoming a man if you could not stand toe to toe with a girl and ask her out. Like that was just,
Hmm.
you know, that was the game's different now. I think people are, you know, it's much more acceptable, or I've heard, you know, that people do this, or I should say, not acceptable. It's more common practice. You are the dating coach. is it okay to use text, DMs, social media, whatever, to ask somebody out, or is face-to-face is that still king?
Well, look, this is the way that I get asked this kind of question all the time, because dudes are always on some, I got to have really good phone game. I got to be able to text a girl into bed, and it's like, but you know what that tells me when somebody says that? That tells me you're scared, that you're scared to like have that confrontation. I mean, I guess it shouldn't be a confrontation, but you know what I'm trying to say. That interaction.
Correct.
You're scared of that possible rejection, and it's a lot easier to take if she doesn't text you back, as opposed to she walks away from you in your face, right?
Right.
Like, your ego doesn't take as big of a hit. But here's the deal. Dude, man, all you are, and in particularly, like, this is extra, extra, extra true if you get a girl's number via like Tinder or Bumble or something like that, right? Some kind of dating app. You've never met this girl, ever seen her in real life, ever. Not one time, right? So you exchange numbers, contact information, whatever. And all you are to her is nothing more than characters on a screen. You may as well be Alexa or Siri or something. Like, you're not a real person. I mean, she knows that, this is a real person, but emotionally, you always hear about dudes complaining about, why do women flake so much? Well, it's a lot easier to flake on somebody that you didn't give a verbal confirmation to, because that person doesn't really exist emotionally. It's just like, you're just, like I said, characters, numbers, letters, punctuation marks on a screen. That's it. So it's easy to blow you off. It's easy to like, my friend wants to do this instead. I'm just going to go ahead and do that because I don't really know this guy anyway. But you know how you flip that? See, here's the funny thing. People act like phones' primary purpose isn't like to call. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah,
So,
especially nowadays. Yeah.
Right. There are digits on your phone that you can push in a sequence order that will communicate to that other person. Okay. And so, look, if you call her and you get on the phone with her and have a conversation, one, she can understand your personality. Like, how many times have you texted somebody? I mean, I'm guilty of it. I think everybody is, where you text somebody and they take it the wrong way, because in your head, you're thinking of it in a tone that is like, like sarcastic or something like that. And so you're like, haha, this is going to be funny. Watch what I say. And then they're like, dude, why are you clowning me, man? Like, why are you talking about me like that? And they're salty. So, like, I think that's happened to everybody. And so, if you get on the phone with her, though, and have an actual conversation, she's going to understand your personality. She's going to hear the tone of your voice. She's going to be able to have some insights into who you are, as opposed to the one very basic communication level of reading a text on a screen. It just, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, so if you had to rank, you would go face-to-face, telephone, and then, whatever other form of communication somebody had to fall back on.
Yes, okay. Absolutely. Yeah. So if there's a hierarchy of contact, let's put it that way, the way I look at it is like this. This is the hierarchy. If I meet a girl face to face, say I meet her at a bar, I meet her on the street, at the grocery store, whatever the case might be. Okay. I'm going to try to set up something then. I'll be like, hey, listen, Friday, I'm going to be going over and doing this crazy thing. You should tag along. I think it'd be dope. Let's exchange contact information. I'll give you the details. Okay. So, that's me, essentially trying to get her to hang out with me, right? Face to face. Then past that, I've got her number. If she can't make it Friday, maybe she has to work or whatever the case might be. Okay, cool. We can text a little bit. I'm not going to, try to navigate that minefield. I'm going to text, lightly, but I'm also going to call her too, and see what another time is that might work out, that's compatible for both of us. Past that, if you exchange social media information, there's, that's okay. Like, that's better than nothing. I mean, and there's some pluses there. She has a little bit of insight into who you are and your lifestyle. If she has your Facebook or your Snapchat or your Instagram or whatever the case might be, she has a little bit of insight into who you are, and you can communicate via that platform. But I think a phone number is better because it's personal. Anybody can get at her, and everybody does if she's attractive enough. Every dude's, trying to slide in the DMs, right? So what makes you different than all the other guys, Well, if you have her phone number, it's personal. That's her number. She, only a select few people have it, and you're one of those select people. So, yeah. I think that's probably the hierarchy. Well, and another thing too, actually, let me circle back to something. A lot of guys are like, well, girls only like to text. You know why people say that? It's because nobody calls them. So if you set the agenda and you call her and say, dude, like if she's really attractive, you don't think that there's not 50 guys trying to holler at her, that you're kidding yourself. So, and what are all those guys doing? They're all texting her. So in order for you to beat out that competition, to set yourself apart, you're the one guy that had the balls and the initiative to pick up the phone and call her. The one guy. That sets you distinctly apart.
Man,
does that make sense?
No, that is some. I mean, I want everybody to take the time to go back, rewind real quick, and digest everything that just got said, because that is some. I mean, it's all gold, but some gold is more gold than others, and there's a lot there, because it harkens back to a day, and I just said harkens. Good God, that's like the oldest word in the world. It harkens back to a day when it was about stepping out from the pack, shining a little bit. And I think all too often guys think to shine, you have to have the flashiest this or, the loudest that. In reality, it's just about style. And, you were talking about phone game, and I laughed a little bit because back in the day, by the time my phone game got good, I didn't need it anymore. But there was something to be said, back when, if you went into a club or, there was a party or something.
Yeah.
If you could, granted, I mean, everybody got shot down, but it was the guy that was brave enough to go up and ask a girl to dance face to face, toe to toe. And now, I mean, if she shot you down, your buddies were clowning you from across the room because you had to take that long walk back.
Yeah.
But it was
the walk of shame.
Yeah. It's funny. I would always circle back by the bar. So I would bring my buddies drinks so they couldn't clown me too hard because I had drinks in my hand for them. That was like, it was a way to
buy them off.
Lessen the blow. But every time, even the times when a girl turned me down for a dance, she was still like, damn, this guy walked over and talked to me. Or if a girl turned me down for a date or going out or something, there was always a level of amazement by the way in which I did it, because like you said, guys text because there's no risk.
It's safe, man.
Yeah, it's safe.
It's playing it safe.
Steps out there. Yes, 100%. So I want people to go back and unpack that. There's a lot there. Valentine's Day is around the corner. What is modern Valor's perspective on Valentine's Day? Because some people call it a fake day. Some people call it a Hallmark holiday.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the deal, man. Like, I kind of lend into that direction that it's manufactured, but that doesn't mean that just because something is manufactured doesn't mean that it doesn't have merit. Right? Like, somebody manufactured the phone I'm talking into right now. You know what I mean? Like, just because something is made up doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. Right? So here's the deal. I think that it kind of boils down to, you know, what the context of your relationship is with a girl. You know, so like if it's important to her and it's not that important to you, it's kind of like, all right, well, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and do this for her, you know. But here's where dudes kind of miss the mark. I feel like is they think, okay, you know, every woman wants roses and chocolate on Valentine's Day, and I got to take her out to a big expensive party, a big expensive dinner, and you know, basically roll out the red carpet, and you know, and go way over the top with it. And you don't, man. You really don't. And if a girl is expecting that of you, you're probably with the wrong girl, man. You know, ultimately, what it should be about is a marker on a calendar to as a benchmark of like, okay, this is a serious day that we're going to spend together, and you know what? But let's go out and have fun. Let's continue to get to know each other and continue to bond. Instead of looking at it, it's like Valentine's Day, look at it like bonding day. You know, like just take the time out, you know, and go out and do something. But it doesn't have to be crazy, man. You know, like if your girl's like, well, I'm not going out with him unless he does X, Y, and Z and takes me here and does this and that and blah, 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 blah. Like, man, nip that in the bud. Like, she can go do that by herself, I guess, because I ain't the one. So
well, I like that you said if it's important to her, it should be important to you. And that goes both ways. I mean, if it's important to one person, it's important to the other. It should be important to the other person. And, you know, that's, you know, I mean, in terms of putting this in a game, I mean, you could be, what the point guard has got to worry about is something that the center's got to worry about because it's important to the whole team. You know what I mean? It's like, or what the kicker's got to worry about. Also, the quarterback's concerned. It's about the whole team moving forward. You might not be in that same spot with that same point of view, but it's still important. Ghosting. I mean, that's a thing that people are popping up against. We talk about, you know, this whole virtual dating platform. What is your take on should people ghost? And what do you tell people who have been ghosted?
I think absolutely not. You should never ghost anybody. And if you do ghost, that speaks to your character. That shows that you're afraid of confrontation. And you would rather than go slay the dragon, you'd rather sit it out and hope the dragon walks away. You know what I mean? Like, dude, that's such a weak move. Like, I can't stress it enough. You need to have, and it's funny, man. We dropped a video on the YouTube channel yesterday where I actually talk about this very thing. And it's like, look, you need to have a conversation. If you're, say, for instance, you're dating multiple girls, right? Say there's 4 girls that you're kicking it with, and ultimately, though, you know, you want a monogamous relationship with one of them, but you know, you're just not at that point yet. So, you know, you're just going to kick it with a few girls and see where things go. Okay. Well, say ultimately you decide like, okay, this girl here is the one I would like to have a relationship with. So I got to let these other ones loose, right? Well, you got to have that conversation. You got to let them know, like, hey, listen, you know, you're a great person, and you know, this isn't anything that has to do with you, but you know, I'm going to be taking things more serious with somebody else that I've been seeing, and you know, I just don't really see a future with us together, and I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste my time either. So, you know, good luck. I'm sure you'll find somebody soon. Peace. You know, so like you got to have that conversation, man, because it's just so weak. And plus, you're saving yourself a headache because you don't think that girl's going to be blowing you up. You don't think that she's going to stop by your house, you know, like go to your job, see what's up. Like, you know, you don't think that's going to happen? Of course it's going to happen. So
now, what about
why put yourself through that? Wait, say that one more time.
What about for people who've been ghosted? What do you tell them?
Don't be needy. don't be the guy that's like, hello? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Are you there? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Hello. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be that guy that keeps hitting her up, hitting her up, hitting her up, hitting her up, hitting her up. Like, I mean, yeah, that's whack that she ghosted you, but it is what it is, and you need to act accordingly. So don't make yourself look bad, look needy, and I mean, and it's not going to work anyway. It's not like she's going to be like, oh yeah, hey, forgot about you, like, yeah, let's hang out. That's not going to happen. Ultimately, if she does get back in touch with you, she's probably just going to be like, dude, like, stop blowing me up. And then you're going to be salty and be like, see, I knew you were like that. Like, well, why? For what? Like, why put yourself through all that? Like, have some self-respect. If she's not getting back, I can see a couple of texts, say you're having a conversation with a girl and, and then she doesn't hit you back for 2 days. You might send her a text to be like, what's good? And she doesn't respond back to that in a couple of days. I'm done. That's a wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
it's funny. I laugh because I feel like, and as everybody who's had good phone game has at some point been needy. Like nobody comes out a perfect player of the game, so to speak. I mean, I think, we've all had that one time when we were like, you got dumped or you got ghosted, or back in the day, we just called it she didn't call you back or he didn't call you back. And like yesterday, you were the person who was giving out advice and you were on top of the game. And then like that, just that one person, and you're eating cookie dough and you're playing like freaking like, that sad ass music, and your friends got to come over and get you out the house. In keeping with the theme of sexiness, we ask this of every guest: what is the sexiest thing about you?
Oh man, I think you asked me this last time, man.
That's right.
And and I don't think it hasn't been that long, so not much has changed. You know what I'm saying? I didn't put on 30 pounds of muscle in the last, month and a half or whenever it was I was on last. But yeah, man, I think my voice is what people respond to the most, because okay. I have a powerful voice, and I feel like that's what people respond to.
What makes a man sexy?
Well, the way you carry yourself, man. And that's such a, and here's the deal. A lot of people would scoff at that and kind of like look at that as just like a stock answer, like a cliche almost. But here's the deal, man. If you can learn how to control, it's like muscle memory in sports, man. If you can learn how to control the way that you walk, your posture, your body language, the tonality of your voice, the way that you're put together, and, work all that out, man, that goes such a long way. Like, you ever see somebody walking down the street and their hands in their pockets and they're looking down at the ground and walking all slow? Like, what's your first thought? It's like, dude, that guy's about to go jump off a bridge or something,
Right,
like,
right.
But if that same guy, his shoulders are back, his chin is up, his chest is out, and he's walking with purpose, and he's nodding at people as they walk by him and saying hello, Miss Johnson, and walking across the street, he's got somewhere to be, like, that's somebody you're like, dude, that guy, he's got something going on,
It is time for the quick game, where we give our guests a chance to run through some entertaining questions. I got some good ones for you tonight, man. Dale, are you ready?
All right. Yeah, right. Man, I'm good.
Do you think it's possible to have a friend with benefits?
Yes.
Do you like?
Am I supposed to expound on that?
We'll keep going.
Okay. All right. Just making sure.
Do you like getting lap dances?
Yes. I don't like paying for them.
Yeah, that's what that is a true player answer. I like getting them. I don't like paying for them. Do you suggest people incorporate food into sexual encounters?
It depends on the food and the couple.
Yeah, we're not talking like you end up in the emergency room, just like,
Yeah,
strawberries,
I mean,
chocolate,
it's
that
not really
kind of
my,
stuff.
it's not really my thing, but like I can see the appeal, I guess.
Boxers or briefs?
Boxers.
Best Valentine's Day gift you've ever given?
Ooh, that I've ever given?
Yeah.
My time.
Nice. Worst? None of my
Worst
time.
that I've ever given? Jackson's time.
Just handing me out there.
No, the worst that I've ever gotten or given. Oh, that I've given, right? Yeah, the worst that I've given. Probably like back in the day before I knew anything about game, some cliche like Valentine's Day card, and like just going over the top. It really didn't mean anything. It was just me trying to score points.
Best Valentine's Day gift you've ever received?
Oh man, I don't put a big premium on gifts too much. The first thing that comes to mind is a threesome.
Nah.
Call it what it is, man.
I feel like that may be the best Valentine's Day gift anybody's ever received. What about the worst?
Let me think. The worst that I've ever received.
The bill.
The only thing that comes to mind. I appreciated the effort. But I think there was one time a girl like cooked dinner and it just, it wasn't popping. You know what I mean? So like some hamburger helper or something,
in terms of romance or in terms of the game, who inspires you?
Oh man, that's such a good question, man. I think the person that inspired me the most and really was kind of my introductory point to start learning some of these concepts and everything was Neil Strauss.
Nice.
Yeah, that was my entry point, I think. So I would have to give it up to him.
Good people, sexy people. That wraps up our interview. I was trying to get through it, but I was playing back so much of the stuff that we were joking about. Wraps up our interview with the driven and the sage and wise dating coach, Dale Valor of Modern Valor Dating. Dale, thank you for joining us this evening. One more time, let people know where to find you.
All right, so you can find us, the best place that you can find us is modernvalordating.com. And let me just throw this out there real quick, man. I know we're rapping, but, if anybody that's listening to the podcast here, which you should be, okay, if you're listening to it, I'm just throwing this out there. If you want a free coaching call to help sort out some areas that maybe you're struggling with approaching women, you're struggling in relationships, there's a situation with a girl and you really don't know where to take it or something like that, I'm offering you a free coaching call. All we got to do is set it up. So you could do that on our website. We have links for all our coaches with a Calendly deal. All you got to do is click what time, what day, and it's a wrap. It's done. We're doing it. So yeah.
You people heard it here. Make sure you take advantage of that. Free advice is great, but great free advice is amazing. That's what you will get through Modern Valor. Dale, thanks for coming back.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Thanks again, man. Appreciate you, bro. We'll be talking.
Good people, sexy people. That wraps up our show. Follow me on Instagram at Jackson Stuart 2 and on Twitter at Jackson Stuart 01. Keep up with the show at www.gameonwithjack.com, and we'll see you next week. Until then, keep it sexy and game on.